temple up ahead was built to remember Pervases. Maybe I came here because I had a realization.
You mean back when we were underground?
It's hard to put into words. Seeing both, you could dress up the Yaksha's life and call us valiant warriors, veterans of war. But for Bosacius, perhaps dying in the heat of a great battle was no tragedy, and perhaps the same is true for me. After living so long, to die in the act of... So maybe...
Hey, don't say that. Oh yeah, Ushi wanted us to tell you. Ushi said he has the power to exorcise demons, so people use him to fend them off. But he also said that he doesn't have any grand philosophies. He just thinks we should spend... Maybe there aren't so many rules about how we should or shouldn't live our lives in this world after all. So, he hopes you can come down to... Yep, like people with visions. They have more resistance against your power, right? And...
Suddenly, they used to talk about how they hoped to live a mortal's life once the world was at peace. I think I was the Bosacius recorded in the Fantastic Compass had lost his sanity. He addressed the people around him as Elatus, Menogius, and others. I am Elatus, and Menogius is General Capisus. The others are Bonanis, or General Chisapis, and Indarius, or General Musatus. Bosacius and Ye Lan's ancestors stayed underground to the end. So that space, Ye Lan was right in everything she said. I couldn't have done all I did without everyone's help, even in the final moments.
well, Paimon still thinks you were amazing.
Yanfei and Ye Lan are correct. I always prepare for the worst-case scenario. This mind, if Rex Lapis hadn't saved me in that moment, in the end, I still had to burden another.
But that's how it should be, right? You've known Zhang Li...
Perhaps. In the moment that we escaped from that space, I could sense what was left of Bosacius's memory. It's good that one more person will remember him.
Menogius, where have you been?
Brother Yaksha, you're confused again. I've told you countless times, I am Boyoung, a thaumaturge who fought with you in the chasm.
Boyoung? Boyoung? You are Boyoung, but who am I?
Believe me, I want to know as much as you do. Here we are, the two who agreed to stay here together, and I can't even call you by your name. It's a shame.
Stay here? No. No, you have to leave.
Nonsense, Brother Yaksha. We're down here for good now. Don't you remember? It's too late to have regrets. The seal can't be broken.
The seal. Ah, yes. I'm a Yaksha who came here to fight.
Brother, are you okay?
Look at the state of me. I don't think I've got long now.
We're the only two left. Don't go dying on me. You know, today I saw my family down here. Clear as day. What do you think? Am I losing my mind now too?
Boyoung, do you want to go home?
I made my decision to leave Zhongzhou up on the surface. I obviously... Of course I want to go home.
I must have family too.
You mean brothers and sisters? I'm sure you do.
Brothers and sisters. Yes, but who am I? And where is my family?
Brother! What's wrong? Hang in there. It's just you and me, don't die before me.
Elatus, is that you?
Who's Elatus? Your memory's going again.
I'm sorry. You all have to see me in this state.
Brother! Brother!
Look, there's someone over there.
Who are they?
They're my... I remember now. I know you. My brothers and sisters have come for me, Boyang.
You're awake? At least tell me your name.
Brother Bosacious.
Hey, Bosacious. Bosacious.
I am Bosacious, and my destiny is to make the ultimate sacrifice.
I've said so much today, but I don't need to hold... Have you ever had a moment where you felt like you were aware of your destiny? By now, I have accepted that destiny is the one disaster that the Yaksha know most keenly of all.
Xiao.
It matters not. Rex Lapis had said that you are a witness. Bonanis, Menogius, and Indarius all perished, and only Bosacious's fate was unknown. Now that I know what happened in the chasm back then, before we left that place, I picked up a stone. I thought if I could take it out with me. Unfortunately, the stone did not survive. Pervases died in the Archon War thousands of years ago. He was younger than us. And Bosacious was too many Yakshas have become casualties of battle. We are like a flock of birds, scattered to the four corners of the Bosacious. Boyang. Heroes. I like that word. Maybe the world will never be free of disaster. But there is good in the world, too. Even the dark... I accept your advice. From this day on, heroes...
Traveler, Paimon.
Oh, hey, Hoishin. Fancy meeting you here. How's work these days?
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu, but I've been feeling distracted at work. It's a long story. But my father, he's thinking of
Huh? What's wrong with Uncle Tien?
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He says he's just increasingly... He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Anyway, my father's currently on the second floor of Yangsheng Tea House. He seems very fond of you, too. I'm sure chatting with...
Sure, let's go. Uncle Tien, we're here to chat with you.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Hoishin, why don't you... I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry, I'm quite alright. It's just, as I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, I am still very much in good standing.
How difficult is...
Oh, well, you see, historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice, and this is...
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Keqing, Lady Ningguang, and the other Qixi...
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget.
It's Ye Lань!
Jackpot. Uncle Tian here asked, fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know...
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be...
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tian, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the cove...
Huh? Ye Lань, you want to be the next Tianshu?
I'm not opposed to the idea. So, how about this?
Deal. Well, you guys meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment... You're all set?
Uncle Tian seems really worn down.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tian is past his prime. He's not... So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei. Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingbo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessing them at Yuehai Pavilion in a short...
Qianwei, Mingbo, Zhiyi. Paimon should be able...
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the Qixing.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
Thank you so very much. Join the adventure.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have... That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things are...
Oh, come on. That's just... All right, you two. Let's not get into a... Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs to be
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you I've split it into 2 stages. Current affairs and planning. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second stage, writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow. One of them is really thick.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to, failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents, there's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each... I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me... Finished, huh? What did you...
Everyone took it very...
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tien, and keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. That's for me to know and you to find out. We can talk more after the... We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one...
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp.
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days? My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the account.
Is it just Paimon, or...
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and...
Oh, okay.
Hello. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll...
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be...
Very fair question. I completely... But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more... Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the U... If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I...
Nice answer. All right.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was...
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell, but he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as...
Perfect summary! Paimon couldn't agree more!
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of pertinent... The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Yi take the position would certainly put Uncle Tien's mind at rest.
Great!
We'll see.
Barbados. Wait a minute.
I see.
All right. Then let me ask this. The ideas in Jur-E's manifesto.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of Those 3 candidates have all studied under me. But Xin Wei went on to focus on his business, and Ming Bo has always been occupied with his work at the...
Whoa! So how did you get to know them all?
Chen Wei was referred to me by an old friend. Ming Bo came to my attention in the course of my... We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know it, Juri came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very... He reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing. Quite. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young... The young are growing up, and I am growing old.
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left.
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't a...
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tian.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish.
Fresh fish soup.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, when we've been fishing recently, Juri always brings some... That flavor makes for a fond memory. But...
Oh, can Paimon come next time too?
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tian, we've reported back. Do you have a verdict?
Mm-hmm. I appointed you as the... Had you not asked me why Juri's ideas were so similar to mine, this decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Remember, you must be thorough.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. So, it's gonna be Juri. His manifesto was written well.
Easy. Let's not rush.
Huh? So...
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost all... For example...
Yes?
Lady Ye Lan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan as my trusted assistants. They are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various... Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right?
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the...
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
Jur-E. Well, obviously as the most promising candidate. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people...
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talk... He does business at the North Wharf.
That's actually...